Hi, this is Rocco. I'm the founder of Simmer.io, the website that you see right here. Some of you don't know that I was actually a professional game developer before I got into this web business. And I wanted to tell you my story about how I got into the industry in the hopes that it might help you in your quest to make games for a living. So let's rewind all the way back to 1985. I went on a trip to see my grandma, and upstairs my uncles were playing this brand new thing. It was called the Nintendo Entertainment System. They handed me the controller for Super Mario Brothers, and I was instantly hooked. And I almost instantly knew that that is what I wanted to do when I grew up. I wanted to make these things. So for the next 10 years or so, like on the back of the school bus and things like that, what I would do is draw out little Super Mario levels on paper. So then we move up to the year about 1995. I think it was about 14 or 15 years old then. And I begged my parents for this piece of software called Click and Play. And they grumbled, oh, you're not going to be able to do anything with that. It's going to be too complicated. And there was really very little like we know today on the internet with tutorials and all this stuff everywhere. I mean, there was a big fat manual that I read through. And I did a lot of experimentation. I learned to save backups of my work because the thing crashed all the time. But anyway, so about a year later, I put together this collection of games. It was called Arcade Super Pack, right? And it had a version of Missile Command, Asteroids, and I believe it was Pong, okay? So what I did when I got done with that game is I threw my email address on the front screen of it, and I uploaded it to the America Online Games channel, and I sort of went about my business. I think that summer I was training to be on the football team or something like that. So I was like doing a lot of weightlifting and running around and stuff during the summer. Before I tell you about how Arcade Super Pack launched my career, I first just wanted to remind you today is the last day to get Simmer Connect Premium at the best price we'll ever offer. Simmer Connect is a way to get your game that you've uploaded once and share it to multiple places on the web. It has a custom loading screen editor that keeps 30% more people on your game than the standard Unity loader. And it also comes with bonuses like Filebase from Game Dev HQ if you sign up for a yearly membership. So head on over to simmerconnect.com or click one of the banners on our website and you can get an amazing deal for this that I'm never going to offer again. It cost money to go on the internet per hour back then, so I didn't really get to log in that much. But one day I logged in and I noticed my inbox was filled with all this stuff, and I also realized that that game had been downloaded from the AOL Games channel over 40,000 times. Pretty cool. So one of those emails was actually from a small publisher, and they wanted to pay me a few $100 to throw this game on a CD and share it with the world. Now, that is something that I wanted to do. However, when I got into it with the company Maxis who published Click and Play, they told me that these games are not really allowed for sale. That's not how our licensing works, blah, 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 blah. So that was a minor disappointment, but I did have this thing that got played by thousands of people, and I believe it did actually make its way to a bunch of shareware CDs and things like that. 500 games on one CD or whatever. Let's fast forward again to about the year 2000. I was in college then. It was a regular computer science program, but at each turn where there was an open-ended project, what I would do is make a game for that project. And then I had this pivotal class. It was this one-credit writing class called Creating Electronic Portfolios. And what I did there was create a website for myself and shared it with the world. Now, a few months later, I got this suspicious email in my inbox. It was from this woman called Lisa Dennis from Maxis. Again, Maxis was that Click and Play people. They also do SimCity and a bunch of other things. I'm sure you've heard of Will Wright. And she said, wow, it looks like you have a pretty cool portfolio. Would you like to do a phone interview for an internship we have available? So I did that interview and I made the cut and I flew out to California for a summer to work at Maxis on the Sims 2 team. Now, I didn't get to work on anything all that exciting. What I did was I wrote these performance tracking tools and stuff like that. It was a PC game, and the PC configurations were all different. So we needed to make sure that we had something that would test out the game on all these different PCs. And I got that going, and I also worked on the infamous cheat code window. So that was pretty fun as well. Next, I wrapped up college. I was dying to get a job in the game industry, but the economy was kind of down. It was right after the dot-com crash, and I wasn't able to find that job. So I took a job with the government. It was actually filing and data entry, and that, made me just enough to sort of get by. I was still living with my parents and everything. But then I eventually was able to get an interview with this place called imaginengine up in Boston. Up there, I worked on glamorous CD-ROM games like Care Bears and My Little Pony. I guess someone's got to do it. About a year in, I was getting a little tired of making these kids' games, and I knew we had another office over in California. I was like, look, if you don't help me transfer in this company to the other branch, I'm not going to be able to stick around. And I did just that. I started interviewing for other jobs. I actually interviewed at Sucker Punch. Their interview was really, really hard, and I didn't get the job. But I was eventually able to get out to California to the imaginengine office out there. We were a work-for-hire shop, which meant that we would work for different publishers on different things. And one of the projects that we worked on was Rock Band. Actually, I worked on 3 different Rock Band games while I was there. And look, it wasn't all glamorous. There was a lot of, I have to figure out how the bits and bytes of the memory card go back and forth using the Wii API. But I was able to work on some really fun things, like figuring out how to get the instruments working for Rock Band 3, or getting first dibs at the Wii remote before anyone knew what it was. We got to try this thing out, and I got to program the controls for this game called Death Jr. So look, there are easier ways to make money than games, don't get me wrong, and my story might not fully apply to you, but you need to have persistence, you need to get your work out there, and if you keep trying and trying, your persistence may eventually pay off. So that's all I got for today. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time. And don't forget, today is the last day to get Simmer Connect Premium with all those bonuses and the great launch pricing. So get on to simmerconnect.com, give it a shot, and let me know what you think.